Well, hello everyone. We're going to get started here. Thank you for coming. I hope you're having a great time at Ignite. This is our day 2. There's obviously a good party going on over there. Hopefully we can compete with that. Day 2, our foot counters, step counters are on high drive, and we're enjoying running from one air-conditioned conference room to another. Again, I hope you all are having a good time. My name is Thomas Wicker. I'm the one of the PM program managers, principal program managers for FastTrack, Microsoft FastTrack. And I will be taking us through this next hour and 15 minutes of talking about the journey that Schindler had experiencing not only getting more out of Microsoft 365 rather than just moving to the cloud. How many of our audience here, and just those that are coming a little bit late, we're going to be mostly talking over here, not going through slides. So if you can stay over there, it's fine. But if you want to see our faces while we're talking, we'll be kind of keeping it in this area. How many of the audience have actually deployed to Office 3 or Microsoft 365 or completed their deployment? Great. How many have gone through your whole adoption process? Cool. Anybody actually just starting out? This is going to be great for you. From the key takeaways for the session is, we really want to make sure that you take away from this is understanding how customer here that we have with us and FastTrack work together to help transition you to Microsoft 365. And we also want you to be aware the learnings that we've had. We've migrated millions of seats and thousands of customers transitioned into Microsoft 365, and there will be issues. I think we all gone through some sort of transition in our lives, and there's typically an issue that occurs that we didn't foresee coming or we maybe thought would happen, but we didn't necessarily prepare for it. And through the experiences that FastTrack has, we meet with our customers and we come alongside our customers and make sure that they're ready for those issues that come up, and maybe kind of try to hit them off before they become major issues. So we hope we give you some guidance and insight into that. The third part is that we want to make sure that you plan for your adoption strategy. Again, through all these customers we've worked with, we've learned that customers that plan their adoption strategy from the get-go, like at purchase time, what they're trying to achieve with Microsoft 365, and actually implement those adoption strategies as they're going through their transition, receive the most benefit and have the best realization of moving to Microsoft 365. And then the last part we'll share is how we worked through with Schindler, our customer, on understanding how user profiles, identifying real user profiles. We were actually able to help Schindler save in cost on their licensing costs. And this is something that we believe, the 4 talking points that I just mentioned here are not just specific to Schindler, but are things that we believe really all customers could benefit from in their transition to Microsoft 365. As we go through this, if you have questions along the way, please hold them. We'll have 10 to 15 minutes at the end, where we'll have an open mic. You can come up to them and ask the question, and I'll make sure that we get to that time. So, without further ado, our session today, I want to introduce Eric Lau from Schindler. Eric, how about you share a little bit about who you are and what your role is at Schindler?
Yes, thank you. I'm at Schindler responsible for the digital workplace. So whatever sits in front of our employees in terms of device, and then also the services that are being consumed by it with a special focus in Microsoft technology, and ensuring that all the employees around the world are having the best possible technical foundation to do their daily job.
Fantastic. And we also have up on stage here today also one of my colleagues, Ronald Campus, who's directly working with Schindler. Ronald, share a little bit about what your role is and what other part, what's your role in FastTrack as a whole?
Well, my role is I'm a FastTrack architect. Anyone familiar with FastTrack already?
Good.
All right.
Some awareness, that's good.
Okay. If you want to know more about FastTrack, just wait until after the session and come to me and I will explain more. My role is one of the roles in FastTrack delivery, but I'm representing engineering. So we have our delivery team where you have a FastTrack manager, FastTrack engineer. Is always engaged on a customer. Then for migrations, you also have a migration manager. But though we are having a very straightforward process with specific phases, all figured out based on our best practices with large enterprises, there are always things which might happen. So my role is to anticipate on possible risk and issues and make sure that once they happen, they are mitigated, so escalations are at least rare in even enterprise engagements, like with Schindler.
So great. So before we go really into like the additional places, I think it'd be great for the audience to understand, for you, Eric, what the kind of like, let's lay the groundwork for where Schindler was at the time when you all decided to make the move to Microsoft 365.
Mm-hmm. So the environment that we were looking at was really distributed, and we had several hundred servers around the world, ensuring the technical foundation for all subsidiaries around the world, as well as our headquarters to have the right technology for their daily work. Mm-hmm. And we had a special focus at that point in time on Lotus Notes technology for mailing as well as for application infrastructure. And one of our main drivers when we looked at this was to see, okay, how can we, maybe use more efficient on what we're doing. And one of the ideas was obviously to have a look at consolidation, and I'll come to that a bit later.
Well, that's a big step. I mean, Lotus Notes is an older platform, as we know, but I mean, that's also it's a big step to make such a type of transition. What were the, why did you choose Microsoft 365 then? I mean, obviously you sound, want to do some consolidation. What drove you guys, Schindler, to say, let's go to Microsoft 365?
Mm-hmm. So obviously we were already using some products of Microsoft. I mean, the Microsoft Office Suite, for example, was obviously something that we already had, and we wanted to ensure that, our whole tool set that we offer to the employees around the world is well integrated with that. So that when having a look at this, we saw, okay, what options do we have to realize that? And obviously, one of the choices is to, further use the Microsoft tool suite, and then also, of course, from a not just from a technical point of view, have the good integration done, all in one house, but then also on the other hand, from a licensing point of view, making use of bundling options and so on to have really, the whole tool suite and possibility for optimization out of that.
Okay. And then, was there any consideration given when you were doing this planning, this implementation, on who your target audience was? Was it the whole company as a whole? Were you trying to focus on a specific set of users? Mm-hmm.
No, we were actually looking at mostly the whole company. So independent, if you're like using the services on your mobile device, being in the field, or if you're using that on your laptop in your office. So we really looked at mostly everybody in the company, and resulting in nowadays more than 50,000 seats that we, that we are taking care of.
So you had mobile users, you had desk users, and then you had, of course, your back-end infrastructure.
Correct. Targeting all kinds of roles that we have in the company, like independent if you're in finance or HR or management, or if you're installing elevators and escalators.
So it was a real broad scope that you had to think of when you were thinking about this implementation. So can you share a little bit how Schindler got engaged with FastTrack?
Mm-hmm. So after having a look at the product portfolio and coming closer to the decision to go ahead with Microsoft, we wanted, of course, to check on what to do first to go down the road of going together with Microsoft. And one of the major steps that we obviously needed to do is to switch our mailing from the Lotus Notes on-prem infrastructure that we had to Exchange Online, which was the plan. And after consulting also with our partners, we yeah, we saw that there's, really not just a lot of work to do in terms of the data that needs to be lifted, but also like conceptually and so on. And after having then also several talks with Microsoft, of course, we were really happy to get to know the FastTrack program and seeing that there is also support from Microsoft for doing, all of the heavy lifting that, needs to be done. And yeah, that was how we got together.
Okay. Yeah, and I think you shared that when you talk with our partners, and we have a great partner ecosystem, it can make it a little bit overwhelming. And there's a lot of parts that can go, like plate spinning, as you could say, we say in America. A lot of things keeping going, and so it can be complex. And so, Ronald, as you got pulled into this deal for Schindler, what did you see, and what were some of the?
Well, the first time I got engaged in Abicon in Switzerland, we had an amazing talk with the customer, explaining that it was a great product, that they had a great idea to work with. Mm-hmm. However, they had a perception it was quite complex because of the advices they got from some partners, the idea they developed, and they thought, hey, our business case is going out of the roof because it's complex, it's going to take long, it's going to be expensive. So we pitched what is FastTrack, because I asked by a show of hands who already knew FastTrack. But FastTrack, unfortunately, is not that well known. Especially 3 years ago, we really had to go out into the market to explain what is FastTrack. So when we explained, we've done it a couple of times. Well, actually 10,000 of times. We've done it from various platforms to the target platform. And we have developed procedures, documentation, best practices, etc. And of course, a very well-skilled team to do it less complex. Mm-hmm. And FastTrack is at no additional charge. That means that you can sit back and relax. You have to do things yourself or with your partner. But FastTrack at least will give you the framework, will have the procedure, and do the heavy lifting as well. So we migrate the mail, and if applicable, which wasn't at that time, move your files to OneDrive for Business as well. So the first thing was to convince that we had that sometimes called cookie cutter process. Yep. And then, of course, the customer said, it can't be that simple because we've got proposals and we think we're going to do it that way. Mm-hmm. So the first discussion you have, of course, is that the customer says, I want to go this way. Yep. And we say, well, we've been there before with other customers, but we learned a lot and we developed our process, and it works like this. So the first were the difficult discussions to make sure you align as much as possible with the cookie cutter process and still have the best cookies in the world, which are unique to Schindler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It's about the best cookies.
Yeah.
I think this is a good point that Ronald brings up too, and I think we experienced this when we were engaged with Schindler too, is that FastTrack we're constantly learning, we're trying to learn at scale across a lot of customers, and so there are changes that we do make in the FastTrack cookie cutter process, if you want to use those terms, that we do as we learn, like this is how we can better address our customers. Understanding we still have a lot of reliance on partners. There's things that are sometimes out of our area or out of scope that we can't do or we're not able to do, and it's really a scalable function for our customers. As you guys dove into this and we started moving more along with FastTrack, what were during the migrations, what were the type of things that you experienced in the organization standpoint? Like how to handle the project? Did things go different than planned, or any adjustments that needed to be made? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a technical thing. I mean, Lotus Notes is tough. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and say it's easy.
No, but when I hear Ronald talking about it now, it doesn't sound that hard anymore.
Yeah, well, okay, then let me tell the second part. So the first part was to convince that we had a great process, and try to convince to work according to that process. But then, of course, you can explain it. You can have a nice slide deck, which we don't have today, and then explain this is how the process works. But seeing is believing, doing is experiencing. So we had to build a team from the customer, the partner, and FastTrack to make the journey together, to know what do we want to achieve and what are the steps to get there. So we first did some technical setup, a team setup, of course. Then we did the first pilot migrations. And then after a couple of batches, we exactly knew how to communicate, not just internally, but also to the end users. Then prove that the process was working. Calculate the throughput and measure the throughput so you could make your velocity planning. So from there, we built a team, we built the trust, and we did really prove that the process was working.
Yeah, maybe to come back to the point of the team, I think for us it was like really important to think upfront how we're distributed in more than 100 countries in the world.
Yeah.
So we wanted and needed to ensure that we get everybody in the boat with us. So a concept that we found really useful from a project setup point of view was to make use of what we call zone experts. You would more maybe refer to like a similar idea like a champion model. But we, in fact, divided our workload into geographical zones, saying we had a central project team coordinating the rollout and all of the things that needed to be done around the world, and then reaching out in the second instance through our zone experts into the individual zones, so that we really had the chance to have the communication channel back and forth very effectively established, so that we were able to handle all of the different languages, all of the different requirements that you maybe have in some instances.
So the zone experts were, in some cases, they were maybe helping drive adoption, but they also had a technical aspect to them.
Correct,
right?
yes.
There's a technical change here.
Yes, correct. Yeah, we had for them both responsibilities. So one being the communication in their zones, and then also ensuring on a technical level that all of the zone requirements are then well handled and communicated with their IT responsibles in the individual subsidiaries, that we ensured everybody to be in the boat through the whole process of not just coming from IT side, but also getting the knowledge out there on what's happening and how is it happening and so on.
Okay. So it's really kind of, we're diving into the adoption space here, which is, this is excellent. And it wasn't just, like you said, communicating, there was a technical aspect. Was there classroom trainings that you all did and anything like that? Because I don't know, last time I looked at Lotus Notes 1, 2, 3, and I look at Outlook, that's a big transition for somebody that's never used it. How did you guys combat that? With the zone experts, obviously, were probably relied on for part of that.
Correct. Yeah. What we ensured is that we kept, especially the zone experts, very close to the central project team, ensuring that they had all the information that is needed for not just doing the technical transition, but also on the communication and training side. And then actually we left it to the subsidiaries to see, okay, what they found most effective. So we didn't plan the process from centrally up to the individual subsidiaries, but we said, okay, we're going to distribute the information that is needed, and then it was up to the local responsibles to take that up and share that knowledge. And actually, what turns out is that in some instances, for example, classroom trainings worked very well. In other instances, like online training, worked much better. So it's then also being able to get that feedback and use it in the individual zones was then really helpful for us to give that freedom as well, and not trying to organize everything centrally, because then you come back to the cookie cutter, and maybe if it's not fitting locally, then you end up in a
so adaptation.
Correct. Yeah.
Great. And Ronald, in your role as the FastTrack, how did that help in that, just directly in that adoption of the Lotus Notes migrations?
Yeah, well, we started with email migration. It's just moving a mailbox. But it's not, the primary requirement from management was that it should be least disruptive.
Well, that's the technical. Every IT person wants it to be
Exactly.
no technical disruption, right? I mean, that's what we all want.
But we want it to be disruptive, because people need to notice there's something happening. They get a complete new suite, a new toolbox to do things, to improve their business processes, to become more productive. So while we were migrating the mailboxes, we were talking about extending that toolbox. thinking about scenarios, business scenarios, target groups, etc. And then, of course, we have been working together with the local Microsoft team, who knows the customer even better than I do, because they're working with them on a daily basis. So they find pockets in the organization where they were very interested in the calling features of Skype for Business. And of course, you had your legacy platform, mainly used for chat. But for those people who didn't use chat but wanted to have the calling function, of course, Skype for Business was an ideal second workload to focus on. And this is where there were, well, subsidiaries who started to use Skype for Business. And then things get going, because you say, hey, we already purchased it, so let's use it. And then we had a higher management attention to get adoption and change. You had a dedicated person working on adoption. We pulled in an adoption expert. So we served those templates for the scenarios and helped them develop a mission, a vision, and why to use and how to use Office 365 at that time.
Can you both maybe share a little bit about the executive sponsorship? You kind of mentioned the higher up level people. Like, how did that play in a role? It was something I know at the time of Schindler, when we were deploying, we were really starting to identify the importance of that executive sponsor.
So I think that was really important to, get the commitment up front of saying yes, in general, the digital workplace and doing all of that story, was also acknowledged by the management, and also something that is forced, where you have the buy-in. And actually that, continues throughout today, as Ronald just said. We have really a high focus on the adoption, and that is actually being enforced by our top level management, so that we move forward with that and have the best stakeholders to do so, because you need to have that change also communicated from the top. If you just start that, let me say, out of IT, and that's it, then it's going to be a hard and long way.
Great.
And in this case, it always helped to get the PAs, the personal assistants of the management, involved in some pilots, so they appreciate the productivity features from Office 365, so they can convince their managers. That was one of the key learnings we had in the adoption part.
Yeah, I think that's in general, we made very good experience with that in, having pilots, and then actually more people getting interested into it, because then they're obviously missing a feature, and they maybe, they receive a link or something and that's not working for them, and they're checking, okay, what's that, why is that now, why am I not in the pilot? So of course, you start growing and getting people interested in that, so, it's really, that really helped foster all of that.
Gaining their curiosity.
Correct, yes.
Before we go really more into that, the kind of the additional things that unfolded with Skype, and just let's finish out with kind of on the Lotus Notes migration, was that, we said there were issues. There's always issues in deployments. If I recall correctly, there was some stuff that was out of scope. Do you want to share with any of that, and then how we tackled that as a group?
Yeah, so, well, it would have been nice, what we obviously had as part of the mailbox migration was our archives. So we had a lot of archives, around the world with a lot of data. I mean, we have people 30 or 40 years in the company, obviously, accumulating quite some emails in the past. And then we had to learn that archive migration, at least at that point in time, wasn't part of the FastTrack.
Still not is.
Yeah. So that would have been very helpful to have that. But yeah, I mean, at the end, having done the way for the active mailbox, of course, we also learned a lot as a project team. Together with our partners on how we did it with the active mailbox. And the good thing with the archive is a bit less critical, because people are not using it daily, but rather on an occasional basis, and they just want to know that it's there. So we had a bit more time to work out our own process together with the partners to also do the archive migration.
Kind of helps some realization of maybe what's the critical pieces you need to get the customer, your end users activated, versus the things that are nice to have.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And if you look,
in addition to that, we also have the best practice to share when it comes to archive. Is do not necessarily assume that you have to migrate it. Start thinking about archiving in itself. So I'm very anxious to learn, how did you eventually solve it? Because you didn't waste millions in migrating it, but you still have the archive. So maybe the audience is interested how you really solved it.
Well, I mean, we really went ahead in migrating it into as well the Exchange Online Archive to ensure, having all the data at the same place. Obviously, what you want to do nowadays is to, ideally have one search box somewhere, independent if it's then on the client or online, to find all of your information. So we really wanted to make sure that we have not something residing here and something residing there, and then the end user has to choose and to see where the data is, but really trying to make it easy and put everything in one place so that they can make use of it.
So as you finished that Exchange migration, or the Lotus Notes, we finished that like a year, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago?
Yes.
A year and a half ago. Is there anything now that you would say from that migration project that maybe you would, I see why that was done that way, or I wish I would have known that before?
Yeah, well, there are actually a lot of points, but let me just share some of the bigger ones. Besides the zone expert or champion model that I talked about, which really made a difference. For us, it was also really key to automate as much as you can for the migration, so that I mean, we were doing 2,000, 2,500 users a day. So you really want to ensure that the first, as well as the 2,000 users that you're going to be migrating, has the same quality, the same experience, and it works, everything well. And you can only do that if you ensure the automated process. We even, wrote a small application just for planning the whole migration and ensuring that at every point in time we were able to tell where somebody is in the migration process. Yeah, so that was another important point. And one of the other points, actually, you touched on that before a bit, was the how much you want to keep to the standard, or how much you want to make it really simple, or you say, okay, we need that variation here and there. So yeah, in hindsight, I would say some things would have been easier if you say, okay, for example, archives are maybe something that we archive somewhere else, and maybe it's not needed there where we wanted it, or like a couple of other examples where you could say, okay, if you try to adjust more to the standard, or making it slightly easier, then it would have made a bigger difference. So in hindsight, I would have maybe have a bit closer look at what is really needed, and where you really buy in and saying, there I want an exception, and where it's maybe something that you don't need.
The standardized process was maybe the better fit.
Yes.
In the end.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's part of the learnings, right? And this is where I say, for our fast track I was mentioning earlier, is this constant reevaluating of, are these steps that we should be including into the process to help it make that transition easier? Because in the end, our goal, fast track goal, is to help our customers, you all, use what you've purchased. That is the best thing that can happen. We don't want you to buy a product and then not use it. That's not the best user scenario. How did this change for your IT team as you guys completed this transition and kicked into some of these other transitions? What really changed for your IT team and your workers because of Microsoft 3? What changed?
So obviously, moving from a decentralized on-premise scenario from a technology point of view to a centralized cloud offering is really makes a difference, and you really need to think about some of the foundations that are already there in the company, things like governance and processes and all the rest of it. So from an IT point of view, you really have to rethink some of the things, and that is a challenge, especially with a fast-paced platform, more or less, that we boarded onto, so that you don't have it as easy as before to define somehow the timeline where you want to roll out a new feature, or if you want to do that upgrade, but rather something that you need to somehow accommodate you. So that's definitely a challenge, I would say, for the IT as well as for the end users, because obviously you also need to understand what's the new feature and where's now that new button and all the rest of it. But of course, it is also a benefit on the other side. Really having the possibility of using the newest features that are there is really really something beneficial for everybody.
And there probably also was a shift. You mentioned that earlier. There's very decentralized. The Lotus Notes servers all over the world. Obviously, that there's not many Lotus Notes servers left for Schindler.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
so how did that change for your IT team?
Yeah. So, meanwhile, we actually consolidated most of the servers. So also there, having the possibility not just concept-wise, but also then from a technology of really getting the things together, and then don't concentrate as much as before, maybe on cabling and screws and whatever you have then for the servers in the basement, but rather focus on the value that you get out of these.
Why is IT always in the basement?
Well, I was talking about the servers.
Oh, okay. And Ronald, how did FastTrack contribute to that evolution for Schindler? Like, what other parts did you do and the team provide as they evolved from the decentralization, or being decentralized to centralization and the business reporting?
Well, that was also part of the adoption process. It is adoption and change management. So you don't only think about the end users, but you also think about the IT organization. It's the continuous change. It's the cloud mindset. It is making sure that the IT organization can keep up with the changes, like Eric said. And this is what we did with the adoption and change consultant.
Okay.
And now, in the new service organization or the new Microsoft organization, there's the customer success manager who takes this over and goes into the organization, understands the business, and translates those business needs into how to use the product.
And I think that's like a very, very important point, because, I mean, one thing is to think about technically, like enabling everybody, but when seeing before the hands of how many people have already thought about the step of adoption, then I can really just urge to do that as well when starting off, because this is actually the moment when the value kicks in. If you have the people equipped with all the nice technical tools, and then you also need to show them somehow in your specific case what makes sense, and I think that's really what then brings the value of knowing how you get things together to build something out of it.
And of course, there's also that important role of the Premier organization, because the Premier organization in the past concentrated on the servers on site, and now also have the supporting role in the cloud, helping the customers to translate the changes in the cloud into the value for the company. So it's twofold. It's the CSM, who is more business oriented, and then of course you have the Premier organization who is service change oriented.
Now for Eric, how has that also changed for the IT team? We've mentioned the fast pace, constant evolving. How has that changed for the IT team as far as maximizing Microsoft 365?
So, yeah, I mean, for us it was really the idea of using the tool suite as much as we can, and we wanted to enable all of the features that somehow fit into the portfolio that we wanted to offer to the people around the world, and I really had to focus on how to get these things properly together from a technology point of view, but then as well from a communication point of view, to make it clear for everybody on how to use these things properly.
And what was the change for the business? I mean, we talked most right here about IT, the Lotus Notes to Microsoft 365 transfers. What changed for the business side of that?
I think for them it was really seeing a bit different picture of what IT is, because I actually, like when talking about Skype for Business, we just recently introduced Teams in our environment, and it really was something where users onboarded to really easily. They really liked the tool. I mean, you know, I had a colleague of mine actually approached me in the bakery. I didn't know her before. She's working in marketing, and she told me, "Are you the one responsible for Teams? I really love that tool." And you know, I never heard that before. I mean, never. You know, I had a tool that we deployed before where somebody who I didn't know told me that they love this tool. So we really, you know, saw a change in the perception of IT.
Okay.
So IT becoming sexy.
Absolutely.
Progressive.
yeah. And actually, that's, you know, that's what you want to do as a company, you know, to provide everybody with a workplace that, you know, that they can do really their job with the most current technology. And, you know, also when you know, wanting to attract new talents around the world, as we do, we want to ensure that, you know, we also send out that picture of having this environment ready for the people.
I think that's a really interesting point you bring up, is that it's about, this is changing IT, the perception of IT. For so many years, IT was that it just had to happen. And now you just, you know, you're becoming, in Schindler, IT's now become more of a leader, thought leader for the company, and you're saying also attracting better, like younger resourcing or new resources that are changing. And so, what is the next thing for Schindler in Microsoft 365?
So for us, like really the what's highest on our agenda is really the point of adoption. Seeing, you know, how we can reach out globally in following a champion model into the individual zones, into the individual roles, to really onboard everybody with the new tools, and, you know, making them having the best possible platform to realize what they want to do.
Okay. And is the zones championship role still, kind of champion role, still growing? Because we've seen with some customers, they started out, they just use it just for that deployment and disappears, and then we see sometimes customers, it goes viral, and you find new champs here and there, like you found that person at the bakery. That would be a perfect zones champ. Right?
Correct, yeah, and I told her directly. So yes, it is. I mean, it is still growing. I have to say we're currently thinking about how to, you know, foster that a bit better, because obviously, you know, you see various people in various roles identifying more or less themselves as thought leader and, you know, champion in that regard. So we, you know, really want to make use of this more. But definitely, I mean, you know, we want to follow up on the concept. We made good experience throughout the project, and now also see the value going on.
And how's that changed for you, Ronald? I know you're still engaging with Schindler at different times, kind of coming back. FastTrack keeps going in a cycle. You can keep coming back through FastTrack. How's that worked out for you? I mean, it's shifted. Obviously, we're done with the Lotus Notes part. How's that changed for you?
Well, I think when it comes to FastTrack, though they can always come back, I think there's rarely one workload which they don't use. Of course, they can optimize it, but as far as I know, the only product in the suite which they purchase is StaffUp. So someday somebody's going to find out, hey, we've got another great product for free, let's use it. Because I know from other customers where IT was a bit in the basement, where suddenly when I addressed StaffUp, and I explained what it was, then he said, I think another department just purchased a third-party alternative, and they were too late. So this is what we learned. Keep on talking about the value of the product, but also keep on helping to realize the value of that product. And again, with the CSM, the Customer Success Manager, it's a great move to have that continuous improvement of adoption in a company.
Right. And so that's a good point, is that there's more parts of now Microsoft helping with this adoption strategy for customers. You have your account teams, you're getting more education on that, also to help you all understand what realization you can do. You know, we talked about the change IT. We covered a little bit more about the users, kind of the change for the end users. Is there any other parts that changed for the end users? Anything else you want to dive into? I mean, there's the digitization of the workplace and shifts like that, how's that changed any of the function within Schindler?
So, I mean, I've touched on that very briefly when talking about the mail migration. What you'd like to do today is, to have a platform where it's possible to share the knowledge, where you don't have like an organization where you cannot find the things that maybe a different colleague somewhere in the world already did. So what we really want to do is to share the knowledge, to enable the platform to easily do that, and then also choose the right tools that fit into the portfolio of not confusing confusing people, but add the right products at the right point in time to get everybody on board.
Okay. And so it's more kind of breaking down some of the silos that were in the business. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, and obviously, having subsidiaries around the world, you have similar workloads also. A finance department does finance. It's not really, it's not really different in the US than in Asia, for example. So for them, to also get connected and see maybe what the others are doing, and making use of having that centralized platform now, to also have a look of whether we can do some centralization on the tools, is of course also adding a benefit. I mean, before having everything distributed, it was much harder to see and to realize what has been done already by a different party within the same company. So this is a benefit that we are definitely appreciating.
Great. And now, Ronald, for you, I know Schindler was early on, and how have you, what are the things you took from this that were able to drive back in FastTrack, or things that change how you work your role?
Well, I think the first thing which comes to mind is that the end user appreciate the cookies we made with the cookie cutter. You can make consistent cookies with that. But apart from that, I think it was of key importance to really have the discussion with the customer. When you're only going for mail migration, start having the discussion what it will end up with. Because not only for Schindler, but also with other customers, some customers start with a very well-defined scope because they want to have everything under control. But then once the word is out there that the company has enabled Office 365, and end users find out that not all workloads have been enabled, then you're in trouble, because you have demand and you haven't prepared for it. So when you plan out the rollout of Microsoft 365, start thinking about adoption in ways of business scenarios first, before you enable workloads and educate your IT company or your support.
So building on that, Eric, is there anything with that new ideas have come out of this? Maybe because you're thinking of the business scenarios that evolve for Schindler. Is there any changes in the business that you can share right now? It's fine if you can't. That have maybe evolved the business, that wasn't necessarily on the roadmap or in the plans, as far as how IT is changing, how you handle business.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say there are, actually quite some ideas coming up of what could be done, and actually we also see some of the exact requests that Ronald just said. For example, for Teams, it was the case that we were actually approached before we had to plan to roll it out. So that's why we came into the situation of wanting to share that already, but at the same time not ask too much of the organization around the world to now furthermore also on board to Teams. So there's really like the balance between having the tech-savvy people wanting to realize more, wanting to make use of the tools even more, and then the other part of also ensuring that the proper governance is there, that everything is ensured also from IT and adoption side to really have everybody in the boat again.
Before we move on to the Q&A, Ronald, is there anything you want to just add that we haven't covered in the discussion, or things that you feel?
Well, I think we are quite complete in this. Make sure you involve FastTrack as early as possible. Even if you have different thought, do consider it. Because we've done it before. And of course, everybody is unique, but we will be able to make you feel special in an ordinary way.
Eric, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I think we covered the most important parts, and I can also just urge for the need of, especially coming from an IT department, of thinking not just the technically realizing whatever is in the tool suite and so on, but also think as early as possible about the adoption and maybe some concrete use cases that you can demonstrate how to get value out of the product that you're going to enable.
The use cases, I think, is a very helpful piece, concrete.
Correct. Yeah.
Part of this, we brought our customer on stage with us, which very nice of Schindler to come, for Eric to come and represent, is also giving you all the opportunity to ask questions from a customer rather than just hearing it just from Microsoft. And so I'd like to open up the mics at this time. If you do have questions, please come forward and ask, and just speak into the mic so we can.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hi.
I can relate to you, Eric. We're still on Novell group-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm hearing all the guests all through the conference this year. Mm-hmm. But we're heading that way. A couple of questions, and I'll ask them all, and you can just respond. Number one, Eric, if you can reiterate your major pain points, okay? Mm-hmm. I kind of got a little bit, but I want to hear what was literally your pain points and some ways that we can mitigate that. Mm-hmm. Ronald? You Ronald?
Yep.
Okay. Does FastTrack work with other third-party solutions like Quest or whatever? Because there are some issues like proxies, rules, shared addresses, things that won't pull over. They won't migrate from regular, using the regular standard migration tool. So we're kind of looking at both, but can you all create like a marriage to work together? Does that happen? And number three, either one of you can address this. We're looking at the pilot groups, like I've heard several times before. But when you deal with pilots or you're starting at groups at a time, you may lose some compatibilities or features with the existing, in our case, group-wise. There are some, issues, there were some features that won't work with Exchange. So we're making some major changes. So if you have any questions for me to repeat, let me know.
I got those down. I think so. What you covered, what you thought were some of the other points. Yep. I have a little gift bag for you. Thank you for asking the question. I have a little gift bag for you. Thank you for asking the question. Now everybody's going to line up. No, I'm just kidding.
So you were referring to the pain points we had before starting the whole migration or during the migration? Okay. So before doing that,
anything that you would like to share.
So before doing that, we wanted, under, let me say, the headlines of value and efficiency within IT, we wanted to see where we can consolidate whatever we already had, and where we could, shift our focus from, let me say, the hardware level to rather process and service and value level to, change a bit also there the role of IT of really supporting the business on a different level. So that was something that we were aiming for. I wouldn't maybe call it a pain point, but obviously, having more efficiency within IT is something that we strive for. And during the migration, I would say, from a technical point of view, what was really challenging for us was on one side really the sheer amount of data that we were talking about for all of the mails that were there, not just in the active mailbox where we had the FastTrack support, but then also further on for the archive, which was quite some data to shift. And doing so at no point in time risk the data in any ways. Of course, you have some encrypted data that you want to, have special care, and you want to ensure that, all the backups are still there in case you need to roll back and so on. So that, those were really critical points during the migration that we wanted to address. And I would say, those maybe were the most important ones. Yeah.
And then to your second question regarding the group-wise migrations.
You're taking my
I could-
answer? You're going to do it all?
Well, I'll cover the first one because that's
You
actually
cover-
about the tool set. So I actually run the data migration team worldwide.
Okay.
And so you can cover the pilot discussion then. So we do use a third-party partner for our group-wise migrations. And so that, because yes, you're correct, IMAP in and of itself only does email, it doesn't do calendar contacts. So we do use a third-party tool, so it's a full bundle of calendar contacts and email migrating with the user at the same time. And there are some configuration things that we have to go through. If there's very specific parts you want to talk through, we can connect. I'll be in the booth at the deployment booth right underneath I think it's the orb in the middle, that's what I call it. So, but you want to cover the pilot discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to start with the basics. So that there are three main areas. It's the onboarding part, it's the migration part, and of course it's the adoption part. Onboarding, migration, and adoption. Yeah, so those are the three areas, not the order. So I wanted to give the word to Eric, to Thomas for migration, but he already took the word. So let me stick to the onboarding part. No matter where you're coming from, we will start with an assessment. So the FastTrack manager will schedule a call with the FastTrack engineer, go through your current situation, and then based on your current situation and where you want to go to, there's the delta. For that delta, we will define a remediation checklist that will be handed over to you, and you, maybe with a third part, with a partner, can work on that remediation. Then once that remediation is done, you enable your services. Once the services are enabled, then the migration might take place to put the data there. And of course, in parallel, you've been working on the adoption plan. So this is how you can benefit from FastTrack, not just from the migration part.
And when we're doing the adoption planning with you, it actually is helpful. It actually will give you insights to who you need to be putting in your pilots. You start finding the relational, pieces. And there's pieces of advice that we also give. We know from all the migrations we've done, you never put your finance teams at the end of the month or your accounting team because they just don't need a transition happening while they're trying to close the end of month books, right? So these are these type of things that we will provide insights from that we've had experience on. And it is a challenge. I'm not going to say it's not easy that it's easy to figure out the pilots. You do have to think about all the different relationships of who works with who, because there is a situation where you are transitioning from one platform to the other. We don't offer any coexistence for the group-wise migrations to Exchange. Well, the actual coexistence, what I mean, like seeing calendar, FreeBusy, and all that for the group-wide migration. We don't have that ability right now. So you'd have to take more consideration that you're moving the people that need to work together or see each other's calendars, that they move at the same time. So.
And maybe another recommendation, when you talk about pilot, it might be a word in the culture of your company, but the pilot is often misunderstood. A pilot can be something like, we have a couple of guinea pigs, and if it goes wrong, unfortunately, they have a problem. Always consider even your first group of users to be the most important group. So call them early adapters. They have a special status, they get special treatment. This is where you exercise your communication, your support, etc. But make sure that everybody is aware that you're determined to go Office 365 or Microsoft 365, and that your pilot is just the first step, just to refine the processes, etc. So make it very positive. Make sure that everything is aimed for success, even for the first 30 or 300 users.
I think also, and this really worked well at Schindler, was too, that the people they had in the pilot were people that actually gave feedback. Very often we call it the IT-friendly people. That is nice that they're IT-friendly, but that also means sometimes IT-friendly never gives feedback because they can fix their own problems. Yeah, that will raise the question and say, hey, this is what didn't work well for me. I didn't understand this. What was this actually supposed to be doing? And so you have to get them bought off, get them bought into taking on that challenge. But IT-friendly people are great. We also jokingly say with internal Microsoft, we're the worst IT-friendly people because we just go fix our own stuff. We never tell IT what's going wrong. don't envy our internal IT team sometimes because nobody tells them what's going on. So.
Yeah, maybe like just to add one point to the pilot group, what we saw also useful is including people in the pilot group that are maybe somewhat a special user. So for example, you will see different workloads for somebody that is just using the mail account for themselves, versus people that might have some assistants or a group of people that are working together with them. And it, like when talking about mailing, that was really a different kind of workload and functionality that they are using. So one of the things I remember to be that as a complex question that got into play when you talk about sharing options and so on. So I would also urge to include like more difficult setups there.
Is that good? Is that helpful? Yeah. Good question.
Hello, Eric. So Notes was very clearly a embedded solution in your company.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to migrate from something like that to a new modern solution like Outlook, you're going to encounter a lot of inertia from users. In the States, we might use the phrase, you'll get my notes from me when you pry it out of my cold, dead fingers. How did FastTrack, how were they able to help you counter that inertia from your users as you make this major platform change?
Well, I think it was proper like information sharing up front. That you really say what you have today from a technology or from an end user point of view doesn't change as much of what you can do with it. Maybe the buttons are somewhere else, and obviously where the functionality is hidden, let me say, is a different place. But I think it was mostly about communicating it properly, and we found together a way of sharing that knowledge in advance. Actually, one of the other things that we've established was like a central knowledge base, what we used throughout the project to ensure everybody who wants to consume more information, wants to maybe get a bit more information, also has the possibility to do that easy on themselves to understand, okay, what's the process, what will I be facing when the process is kicking in for me, and so on. So it was really information that was key for us, and then at the end also talking to the users, of course, and taking up a bit the worries that might have been there.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hello. Hi. So kind of related to that, email is one of those things that I've migrated you have to use it. How did you approach the adoption for kind of the more optional tools like SharePoint, OneDrive, and now Teams? What models did you use to encourage adoption? Did you use the same executive sponsorship model as your top-down? I'm just curious about how you're approaching that one.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I would say in terms of executive sponsorship, that really goes in a general way of using a different style of working, of collaborating together. And all of these, let me say, little technical things that we are doing are just pieces of the overall puzzle. So we always consider that as working together. And for to use SharePoint as an example, we based our intranet on SharePoint so that people could use it, and then in combination with all of the Office tools, also see the value of different little features that are in there, and then really trying to send out the messages of what's the argument for each of the new tools that we are putting in their toolbox. Of course, at the end, having the toolbox and a lot of different tools in there, is something a bit different to what we used to have. But for us, it was important to first establish the toolbox and then come up with the use cases that we were talking about before, to maybe say, okay, if you're starting to edit something on your PC and you want to share it in a group of people, how do you do that? How do you organize the document lifecycle? And then touching one after the other, but the different tools that we're having to make real use of it.
I think also on that too is this is part of the shift for IT, right? From when we had everything on premise. I mean, I come from that background too. I didn't always work at Microsoft, and you know, we had our servers, everything else, and we do a lot with mandate. There was a lot that IT just did with mandate to the end users. This is how you're going to do this. This is how you're going to do that, and it's what caused IT in some aspects to become, you know, in some cases obsolete, or people like, oh, that's just a cogs, it's actually not helping our business. And so it's not just, I think, you know, email, fortunately, like you said, you move it, they have to use it. So you can still kind of follow your old traditional draconian, like, here it is. But I think it's also a shift for the IT team to realize we need to show the business value of why we're here, to why we should be doing this. And it's, you know, I think the examples that happened at Schindler were great, where it turned from, oh my goodness, like these products are actually going to help us in our business, and if the IT teams look at their perspective of, I'm not just the authoritarian that says go use, I'm trying to win them over to use our products, and we are actually starting to have products, and in Microsoft 365 has these products that give them a competitive advantage, give the marketing team better communications, fast communication, teams, collaboration, right? The sharing of files, and with still having control, because that's usually where a lot of the authoritarian mentality from IT came was, I have to have these controls. I have to make sure the documents don't go off site, that they're, you know, or if they do, that they have permissions locked in. And the way we used to be able to do that as an IT person was, nope, you're not going to do it that way. Nope, here's the one way you can do it. Well, people will always go find a way around that point. And so for us as IT people, we have to take that proactive approach of, I need to maybe think of how I change my message to the end users or to the different organizations. That it's not a, this is what you must do, but rather, here's how this will enable you to get what you want. So, great question.
So in your organization, maybe you can share, the service is continually changing. There's new features almost weekly, right? Yep. So in your organization, who's responsible for educating the users on these new features and to help with the adoption of those new features that show them the continual service improvements?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, we continue somehow with a model that we've set up during the project. So having a central team looking at which changes are coming, you know, what we should be looking at, because we either already have a tool established or it's a new tool, and we are looking how it fits into the overall portfolio and how we, you know, want to do the communication and so on. And then actually starting off then again with doing a pilot in, you know, different roles, different parts of the world to see, you know, how is the performance, is it somehow fitting in the portfolio, and if all of that is answered with a yes, then we start putting together, let me say, the initial information to, you know, get started and to have an idea of what to use. And actually one of the key things that we also see when, you know, coming close to the standard and using the tools that are already there is that there are a lot of documentation is already around. I mean, there are a lot of people, for example, in YouTube that are doing, you know, a very good job in explaining in all languages of the world how you use this or how you use that. And for us, it's really also important to show that maybe you don't need anymore to document everything yourself, but you can rather, you know, try to shift the mindset a bit in terms of, okay, you know, there are various other sources that you can also access, which makes you, from an IT point of view, a bit faster of not having to document everything because you don't, you know, customize it, but it's actually a standard tool that you're rolling out. So what you do is, obviously, you take care of the governance, you take care of the first set up documentation and, you know, having all of that properly, but then giving it into the for the individuals to also give them the possibility of doing some of the last steps themselves as much as they want to. You know, if you want to become an expert for Microsoft Teams, for example, you can do that, and that completely without any resources that are provided from your central IT department. Obviously, you know, you can you have all of that, all of those sources around, independent if it's then Classroom or YouTube or something to read. So all of that is available, and we found that also very very helpful. So, in short, doing the groundwork, and then enabling and pointing out to the various other sources to use that.
I think you also have to remember also with this is part of the reason we created FastTrack, because we get that we're constantly making this changes in the environment, is that you also can rely on reaching out to your FastTrack team if you have one assigned. If you don't, please engage us, that we're able to come back and have discussions. You can come back to us and say, hey, I saw this. Is this really what my understanding is? That can I do it this way? And we're there to help guide you through that story. Yes.
I'm interested about the role of the top management. How could, if they would contribute you in your project for the rollout, or maybe for guidelines or for attention? I don't know. It was important for you, or they think that's yet another tool you bring, the IT brings, and that solves all our problems.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say having really the message sent from the very top of the company that collaboration is something that we need to embrace, that we want to do, the knowledge sharing and so on, and I think really got everybody in the boat there. Of course, you have some people that are a bit harder to convince, but that's independent of their role in the company. That's which is also fair to also ask challenging questions on what's there and what's coming and how is that going to be changing. And it's also the point of obviously you're going to change something that people use every day. So, and they didn't plan that in their agenda. So, they would like to just continue as yesterday, because now they have to complete this urgent task that they need to complete, and you just change the whole infrastructure that they're doing this with. So it's definitely something, that you need to address. But yeah, I would say that it didn't really, it's not really a question of role in the company, but rather, just a general user question to, have some that are obviously then also more on the interested side from technology, and some that are more, on the side of why not keeping for the moment what we have to, just finish these important things now.
I think it's part of also the opening discussion the company has to ask within themselves, why did we make this purchase? What we were hoping to achieve by it, right? And that if it was just a line item in the finance book, then you're going to have challenges. Then this is where FastTrack can try to help, but this is a buy-off has to happen at the leadership level, that this is really what we want. We've run into customers, unfortunately, where it was done just for email, but you bought the whole suite, right? And some cases it's been very hard for them to start using the rest of the suite. Other cases it's been entertaining, where the customer actually, and last year we had a customer on stage with, they just turned on everything, enabled it, they did their email migrations, and then they started having viral adoption. And they then the IT team was able to take those things and prove it to their leadership of, this is why you should be bought in. Look, these people are doing this anyway, right? And so I think every customer has a little bit unique scenario how that will manage, and FastTrack can try to help with those discussions, give you tools or ideas of how to have those discussions with your leadership. Are there any other questions from anybody? I really appreciate you all being here. We do have just these other sessions. Let's see if we can get this to build. There we go. There's other FastTrack sessions the rest of the week. You can also find out these parts. And again, of course, evals. Really want your feedback on where we're actually helping address your questions and your concerns. So, thank you.
Thank you.